the Newark Board of Education. Roll call, please.
President Martinez,
Here.
Vice President Gutierrez, Member John,
Here.
Member Nguyen,
Here.
Member Rodriguez.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. May I get a motion to approve the agenda as is?
I move to approve the agenda as is.
A second.
Member Nguyen moves. You got that? I won't repeat all that. Thank you. Let me go ahead and,
You can hand vote it.
we'll do hand vote, please.
Oh.
All in favor? Okay. Motion passes with 3 ayes. Okay, so we move to public comment on board study session. Ms. Parks. Thank you.
Good evening. I was looking for some other things through some of my box of stuff that I have with my folders in it, and I came across July 2014 document that was put together by Leadership Associates when Dr. Markin was going to leave the first time. And there are some characteristics that the board at that time had highlighted, and I thought some of them were stellar. So I'm just going to read a few of them and add mine at the end. Will be visible in the community. Will build collaboration and trust among community members. Has the courage to have difficult conversations. Will address declining enrollment. May need to consider closing a school and consider current school boundaries. 2014, mind you. Is willing to look at challenges in declining enrollment and come up with a plan to increase our enrollment. Has a vision for the district. Has a strong business background and understands the business side of the education. Possesses a record of working with and helping parents and students who are underserved. Following through on commitments and strong in communications. Models strong leadership throughout the district. Is someone with secondary experience. Understands policy and will demand that everyone stay within education code and policies. I would also add someone who's an experienced superintendent. I don't think that you can walk into our current situation financially and with all of the new hires that we have here and not have experience and know how to work and carry out their duties. I would also ask you to consider that it be somebody that has integrity, someone who's proven to follow through, not just talk the talk, but also walk the walk. Someone who displays accountability in their work ethic and in their expectations. One of the things that I came across today when I was trying to look at some of the characteristics and things and just looking online is that someone who tracks process with proactive and transparent reporting. And I thought that I loved that, and you're gonna hear that from me a lot over time. I really loved that. So anyhow, again, I did actually make you all copies of this front page of what the board had mentioned in 2014 that they were looking for in characteristics. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Parks. Ms. Aquino, please note that Member Gutierrez has joined us. And with no other comments, we will move to item 3, which is today's study session, with McPherson and Jacobson walking us through some initial steps in the superintendent search. And with that, we'll move down to the tables.
Thank you for selecting McPherson and Jacobson. I'm Bill Hewitt, and I'm the lead consultant. Dan Morero is not able to be with us tonight. He had a previous workshop commitment. He just texted me he's getting on a plane right now, so he'll be with us in other events. And I am the lead consultant for this. So tonight we are going to take you through the process. We're going to go ahead and go over the calendar and the activities, try to set all of our dates on the calendar. We're going to select the selection criteria. We'll identify the selection criteria tonight. We won't get a final copy of that, but we'll get a good sense of what it's going to be, and then I will craft something quickly for you to review and get back to me on. I have met this afternoon with the point of contact, Charlene, and we've gone through all of the events and all of the responsibilities that the district has in putting together things. But please, as we go through the calendar, we'll go through all of those activities with you and ask any questions you have. There are 3 meetings that I have with you before we interview and go through the final interview process. So there will be other opportunities to ask questions, and you can always contact me. If you have any question about anything, any of you can contact me, and I'll give you information of where we are and where we're going. I want to mention that if you ever get EdCal, or if you look at it, a lot of districts now are out there advertising for their superintendents. We're not too late, but we don't want to dilly-dally. Okay, that's my mother's term for telling me I'm not doing things quickly enough. She said, "Billy, don't dilly-dally."
We will get on it.
So we do need to do the front end here things pretty quickly, and that means getting the criteria there. We use the criteria in our application. So to post our application, we have to have the criteria posted. Now, we've adjusted it before in the past, and we can do that, but I really would like to have us move pretty quickly on that, and then that'll give us ample time to get to an interview stage about the middle of May. So what I'd like to do, if you can, is to start with the calendar. Do you have this 2-pager that I texted you or sent to you earlier? We're going to go ahead and start. Tonight is the first meeting with the board, March 5th, and there are the activities that we're going to have. We also, I didn't mention it, but we will talk about stakeholders that you want us to interview, and that's one of the activities we'll do tonight. We're coming back in 2 or 3 weeks to interview stakeholders. I would like to advertise the position starting on Monday, if not Monday, then Tuesday. That means deciding what we're going to advertise, where we're going to advertise. So I'd like to do that right now. We would suggest you do EdJoin, which you do for all of your positions currently. I think you have a contract with them, so there's probably no cost to that. We highly suggest you do AXA, Association of California School Administrators. That's where existing administrators look first to find openings. And it's not, and we would suggest you do 3 written posters in their pamphlet in their newsletter that they send out every week this time of the year, and then 30 days online. It's not cheap. They've realized that they got a captured market. It's about $1,000 for, so I think it's $250 for each online, for each printed session, and I think it's about $300 for the online. So it's around $3,050. And we also then, of course, put it on our website, and that's national posting for free. We get over 80,000 hits a month on that, so you'll get a lot of you'll get a lot of people on the national scene that look at our website. We don't really recommend you do anything more than that. You can, if you wish, you can do some national postings. They are expensive. You can post in CALSA, which is I think is the African American, if I got that right, association. But they all look at EdCal. They all access EdCal, and so I find that that's the most effective and the most cost. It's the best deal, even though it's expensive. Is that okay to go forward with that advertising schedule? Okay? All right, everybody in agreement? All right, we'll go ahead and do that. The next thing that we're going to do is come into your district and talk to your stakeholders. And we come in for 2 or 3 days, depending on how we split it up amongst Daniel and myself. And we're suggesting that we come in on the 25th and 26th, right? Isn't that correct? We put 26th, 27th, but Charlene is critical to this because she sets these up and she's here those 2 days, I think, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it, are you looking at the schedule, the one that says stakeholder group meetings?
That's correct. It's the
Okay.
top of the second page. We gave you 2 options there. 16th and 17th just doesn't seem to, it's pretty quick, and it takes a while to set these up. So I think that's too ambitious, and the 25th and 26th will be just fine. So we'll set it for that. Now, we want to ask you, we typically will come in and we'll talk to all of your employee groups, both the groups and then their leaders, and we'll give special sessions for the union leaders. We oftentimes will have a meeting for your parent leaders, and then we oftentimes will have a nighttime meeting or 2 that's an open meeting for anybody to come, and then the district publicizes that. The district's responsible for getting the folks signed up to come into these and to put a schedule together for us. You might remember in my presentation we asked 4 standard questions. What's good about your community? What's good about your district? What are the issues that the next superintendent should be aware of in order to be effective? And then what are the skills, attributes, and characteristics that you're looking for in a superintendent? We ask those same questions in an online survey, and we invite anybody to participate in the online survey. We then go ahead and write up all of those questions, all of those responses by group, and report back to you at a board meeting. So if it's all right with you, we'll go the 25th and the 26th on that. And I want to ask you, is there anybody that you particularly want us to invite to those meetings? Remember, a meeting can be a single person, it can be a small group, it can be a group as large as you want. We give 45 minutes to any group. And then when we do the nighttime sessions, and I would suggest we do at least 1 of those, if not 2, during those nighttime sessions, we typically give more time to it. We usually allow a full hour or an hour and a half.
When you ask, is there anyone that we would like to join, do you want a specific name or would you like a title?
Either way.
Okay.
Either way, yeah. Yeah, and you can get it to Charlene if you want, if you just want to do that as individuals, or you can talk about it now. Is there anybody you want us that you can think
I
of?
think let's talk about it now, just to make sure we're all aligned in terms of, right?
Good,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to start? Or?
Give me,
Okay.
Your processing.
Yes,
One thing that we typically do is ask city leaders too.
Yeah, I was just
And so I think you'd like to have a session, at least 1 session with the mayor and the chief of police and any other city leaders. Would you like to invite the city council people?
Yes,
Okay.
so that was actually the first one you got,
Yeah.
is city leadership.
Yeah.
But I hadn't thought about, including like the chief of police, just
Yeah.
like our city leaders.
Is fire chief a fairly public position in this city?
yes.
We'll invite
Both
that
of them
person
are.
too then, Charlene, okay? Yeah, okay? All right?
So,
Anybody else?
student representation?
Yeah, that's great, I didn't mention that. Charlene, I didn't mention it to you either. We almost always go over to the high school and talk to students, and we rely on the administration there to put a small group of students together to tell us what they would like to see in a leader.
So are they one of the stakeholder groups?
It will be one of the stakeholder groups, and we oftentimes do that at lunch, Charlene. So one of those 2 days, we might, make that the lunchtime. How far is the high school from here?
10 minutes.
Yeah, so we would just have to figure out the timing on that. Maybe we use lunch in 1 session and just work that out. We talked about that earlier.
Okay.
So thank you for that. I'd forgotten to tell Charlene. Yeah, we always do that.
Okay.
Always have students, yeah.
I'm thinking about a parent leader from each school.
Yeah, that's very typical. And what oftentimes boards want to do is to invite the school site council leader and/or the PTA or parent club leader to come, and they put an invitation out to them, or rep. Sometimes the person can't make it, and so they send a rep to come.
I'm wondering whether there would be 1 or 2 different groups. I think students like council, just in my experience, right, they're kind of focused on, kind of more in-depth knowledge of,
Right.
right? Whereas the PTAs or PTCs.
Fundraising
Yeah.
and support, yeah.
That was actually my question. How does it get divided up, broken down?
However you wish to. If you'd like us to have one meeting of each, we've done that before. If you want to have you all come, we've done that before too. So,
Typically, how many meetings would you hold within these 2 days?
typically, we would hold 15 to 20 meetings within those 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, but it can be more. Sometimes the consultants will split. You know, we don't have to both be present for all of them. So we've, you know, in a bigger district, I know in Elk Grove, we had 70 meetings. We did it over 4 days, but so we do whatever you think it takes for the meetings, yeah.
And I know that some parents overlap, some of them are in both the school site
Yeah.
and the PTA, so.
Yeah, yeah,
It should be, I think it's okay to combine
but-
those
okay.
two.
yeah.
Okay. Bowen?
Yeah, so we can do, so for our PTA, if you were saying one person each from PTA, that would probably be a meeting of 9 people. Because we
Good.
have 9 PTA organization.
Yeah.
And the site council, yeah, I think they're more like in-depth, more aligned with, have more in-depth professional knowledge
Yeah.
about how this.
Yeah.
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 So we like to be inclusive and to, you know, bring as many as you wish, yeah.
Do you
oh,
have any meeting with individual principals?
We do. We will have it, let's talk about that for a moment. So whatever you want to do, we've done it all sorts of ways. We definitely want to have site administrators and we want to have district administrators.
Yes, different.
Now, if you want us to have more groups than that, sometimes some places like us to do classified leaders, where it's directors and supervisors as well as a third group. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, personally, you know, really delineate the different groups. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think, because I believe administrators definitely have a different perspective than the actual, we'll call the individual day-to-day contributors,
Yeah.
you know, who are leading the day-to-day.
Why don't we do 3 groups of administrators? We'll do
Okay.
site administrators, okay? And we'll try to find a time when both principals and vice principals can attend. That's usually in the afternoon, typically. And then we'll do district administration, okay? And that's usually it's a cabinet level or director and above. And then let's do there's a whole another level of administration, which is your confidential and supervisory folks, okay? All right? And Charlene knows who they are, so we'll do those 3 groups. That's typically what we see is 3 inputs on those, yeah. Okay? Anything else? Any other groups? That's good.
What are some typical groups that you recommend? And then we can probably,
Well, we've done the employees pretty well,
Yeah.
okay? So one of the things we haven't talked much about is community. Do you have service club leaders that are active with your community? Do you have a big booster organization that's in the community? Some places have a Rotary Club that are very engaged
So
with the school.
our 2 biggest organizations in the city, number one obviously is the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
And in addition to the Rotary Club, we have another organization for the Optimus Club.
Yep.
That's also somewhat big.
Why don't we invite them to a session?
Like just community groups, I think.
And we'll call it support
Service,
clubs,
yeah.
okay? And we can invite both, they will love to come together and give their points of view.
And
You
also, I'm sure the Newark School Foundation wants.
Oh, yeah, you have a school foundation?
Yeah.
They should have their own session.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Love New
And Love New.
Yeah, maybe with
but
a,
I think it'd be better to combine them.
like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think so
yeah.
too. I think it's like the
And Optimus
service.
is more like
Yes,
tri-city clubs, not really necessarily.
But they do like reach out to the schools for summer programs for the kids and, you know.
Excellent.
And they should, if they have interaction with that kind of thing, I think that whoever we choose as the superintendent should be able to
Yep.
communicate well with them. Because they're providing free programs to for kids, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
excellent.
could combine that with the Rotary, that's like
Yeah.
about 4
Yeah,
different
yeah,
groups,
yeah.
okay.
You could, or you could have 2 different sessions. It's up to you.
I think so.
I think,
Put it all in one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one.
Okay, all in one, good.
Couple other things that come to mind, especially because one, we're going to hear from the director of the Mission Valley ROP.
Okay.
So he, obviously it's a very important program for us.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing is we're very much connected to our Ohlone, partner, right?
Community college?
The community college,
Right.
sorry.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So I think those organizations,
Yep.
that leadership,
Yep.
because,
Do you want to bring them in together, or do you want them to have their own time?
what do you,
Together.
I think together? Because
think-
they are partners
Yeah.
both in providing.
Yeah, I would think they'd have
paths.
similar interests,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's do
Okay.
ROP
All right.
and Ohlone.
Okay.
I'm thinking the promotores groups. And the reason why I asked if they're, we have a group of, they call promotora parents,
Uh-huh.
that are very focused on our Hispanic, Spanish-speaking
Excellent.
community.
I think that's a great idea. Yep. Yep, we do that all the time. If you have a particular parent interest group
No, they can
that
be
are
two
advocates
separate.
for a certain group of kids, whether it's second language or some ethnicity,
And then
we
would
think
that-
it's a great thing to talk
Would that
with
be
them.
different than DLAC? Because
They have very similar people, so I don't think we'd.
so maybe.
Bring
I mean,
DLAC.
I mean, if you wanted to combine them, it would.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was about ready to mention DLAC.
Okay.
DLAC is almost always a group that we talk to,
Okay.
DLAC parents. Yeah, the DLAC committee.
Okay.
That's a great list,
Okay, good.
very good. Now,
I'm
we
just
read, yeah, go ahead.
Thinking
Uh-huh.
right now, sorry, how about members from our CBOC?
Oh, like our oversight.
Do you have a bond oversight committee?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Uh-huh, we've done that before, yeah.
Yeah, because that was, all those groups that, because we're supposed to have a revenue
Remember
enhancement committee. and that
remember the
really
purpose
hasn't-
of this is to give input, it's to recruit and to give a lot of input to the
Yeah.
candidates.
Oh, yeah.
This is a real great document that we do for you. I'm really pleased with what we do on this because I've seen what others do and
So,
we do
yeah,
this
let's
really
be more
well.
exhaustive than not.
So
yeah,
it's better to get your
yeah,
money's
I-
worth.
Okay.
No, I agree. I absolutely,
Yeah.
so from that perspective, for sure.
Yeah,
And I'm thinking, give me clarification on this, these groups could also give you some input, insight into our community.
yes.
Okay.
Definitely,
Perfect.
definitely. They really do. And they give you the great things about living here and the things they like about the school district. And they also are very honest about the issues. And I think I mentioned before that our theme is transparency, and we think it's important that issues come forward so that we're finding the right person to address the issues. Every district has issues.
Go ahead.
I was going to comment, did I say this out loud or did I think it in terms of I know you mentioned the kind of the evening
Right.
meetings, so maybe having two, because just a lot of our folks are working.
Would you like to have two
So,
evening
yeah,
meetings?
2
Certainly.
evening
We'll do
meetings,
2 evening
yeah,
meetings.
mhm.
Yep,
Because that's really kind of becomes our catch-all for anyone that can't make it during
it
the day,
does.
right?
It
So-
does. Yep.
To that end, that's what talking about, like a catch-all. I'm wondering where these parents would fit in, but we have newer parents to the community.
Mm-hmm.
With either younger children or just new in general.
Uh-huh.
I think it's important that I think they would get a new perspective. A lot of our new residents are not coming to our schools, so maybe they can get a perspective, and
Yeah.
if they do get an input, they would feel closer to.
To the process?
To the process.
Certainly, yeah.
But where would they fit in if we were to categorize it?
Yeah, so probably the open sessions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless they belong to some kind of association or
Okay.
organization we haven't thought of.
Because otherwise it'll be
Yeah.
hard to identify.
And the best way of getting people to the open sessions is to have them in the schools, okay?
Okay.
And to ask the school, hi, good evening, how are you? Good to see you.
Give me to
How are you?
get you
Yeah.
right. How you doing?
Let's see, I can-
You're using your hands a lot, so it must be important.
I use my hands all over the time. So, it's really helpful if your site administration can impress upon this with the parents. I've had it done many different ways, but the most effective is when we've done it with large schools saying, here it is, please come to this, and then they come too. That's, because sometimes we put these on and nobody shows up.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of up to the district to figure out how to get people out there. I've even had, in one case, a small district say, we're feeding, I'm not saying you should do this, we're feeding you pizza. And my gosh, you know, this was a district of only 500, and I think we had 300 of them there.
Gotcha.
So any suggestions you can give us, you know, you can text it to or email to us,
Yeah,
that would be great. And that's part of your, you know,
How to
information you
get
give
people
us.
here, you mean?
right, how to get people.
Yeah, how to get people.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And just to take a second to maybe catch you up, we're talking about stakeholder groups that we would like to include, so we can have meetings with them.
That's the reason why I decided to vote for you instead of the other firm.
Because of the work that we do with
Yeah,
stakeholders,
yeah,
yeah.
with,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
I'm
would
looking
say,
forward to that.
yeah, I would say we really take that seriously. And we report back to you very thoroughly what everybody has said, yeah.
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 And I don't think we have to be 100% exhaustive right now. I think there's a pretty good list. Obviously,
Right.
Shar will be working to schedule them.
Right, and
If
I
we
will
do-
check in with Shar every week on
Yeah,
how
but
it's
we'll-
going.
If we do think of somebody, can we just
Yes,
add
just
them on
tell
the
Shar.
slot.
tell Shar
Yeah,
and then,
yeah,
okay.
and I don't think you need concurrence of the whole board to do that, because we're just being inclusive here, you know?
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So we picked the 25th and the 26th to do that. And Shar, if you end up with not enough slots, add the 27th, okay? And Dan and I will figure out how we cover that, okay? Either I'll do all 3 days, or he and I will overlap, all right? And I think we would do the 27th is a Friday though, I think,
Oh,
right?
it is.
So we'll do the nights of the 25th and the 26th, okay?
And night or just nights? Nights included?
Uh,
You're doing day meetings and night meetings
Yes,
on the 25th? Okay.
yes, we'll have and what do you think the best time to do an evening meeting with parents is? Some people think it's before dinner, some think it's after, and some people think right at.
6 p.m.-ish?
Yeah, 6, I would.
6, your community turns out best for a 6 o'clock meeting, about an hour long, maybe an
6:30?
hour.
Yeah.
Probably 6:30.
6:30?
That's 6 to 7.
Yeah, they like to get
I
back.
think if we,
Most of these people have children and,
Yeah,
6 to 7?
6 to 7, okay, 6 o'clock then,
6
all right?
o'clock for the night.
And shall we do one at each end of the school district, or do you have one place you think is,
oh, we could do a couple of different schools. maybe.
sure, yeah, we can
Yeah,
do different
that's a good
places.
idea.
So, speaking of time, certain group might need a different time.
Yes, and then we'll leave that up to
Because
Charlene to.
we talk about new residents, right?
Okay.
I mean, whatever new parents coming to live in the city, for them it's probably after 8 p.m.
6:30.
I don't see them.
So that's another idea, is that one evening do it at one time and another evening do it at a different
Okay,
time.
wait.
So another way I've seen it done is 6 and 7,
Gotcha.
or 5 and 7. So that's not a bad idea, is to switch times on the evenings,
Okay.
switch days and times.
so
That's about
if you're gonna do an evening meeting, let's say it's 6, if you get in earlier, is that possible, where maybe we can have people that actually work here come in and chat with you for?
Oh, we do. We'll have
Really?
sessions, we'll have sessions all day long on the 25th and the 26th. And I think just before you got here, we were
Right.
listing all the different groups that would come
Okay.
in. Yeah, all your employee groups we've listed, yeah, including your unions.
So,
One night at 6, one night at 7?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's great to stagger the times because I know that
Uh-huh.
we think together, families who are in that after-school program,
Yeah.
they don't pick up their kids until 6.
Yeah,
And so,
so let's do one at 6 and one at 7, okay?
You thinking of shilling and music, one end, the other end?
we can do Schilling High School and then district office, I think would be the
I
extremities.
think one at the high school would be great, and then, any Schilling's
Well,
fine.
to share experience a little bit, before we did it at the junior high and didn't really, for whatever reason, we didn't get that many parents there, so I think the high school is good. And the district office is nice when you're here when the employees come in, but as far as families,
They like to be at the school.
Yeah, they
I
like
really
to be at the
suggest
school.
you go to the school for
Yeah.
the families,
Okay.
because
Do-
there's
I
some,
like Schilling.
a lot of parents don't even know what a district office
Yeah.
is, you know, so, yeah, we do, but,
Do you have a
If we-
preference?
Children's fine. And what is the
What?
reason?
I mean, I don't know, it's
Yeah,
because,
I'm
he just
I'm
mentioned
I'm just
Schilling, I'm
curious.
fine with it.
So if we do the parent, in this case, it would be like the parent leaders. but
The
you're-
evening meeting is wide open.
Yeah,
Correct.
for anybody.
Right.
So, but are you suggesting we do a meeting at each school?
I'm not.
No, no, no,
that's
that's what I wanted
we're
to
talking about
clarify.
the
Too many
evening
schools,
ones,
yeah.
right? We're talking about.
So the evening, we have 2 scheduled.
Right.
Oh, I think one in the high school is
For
fine, because
sure.
then we get that area, and if we're doing, then the next one, I think the district office. Just
Yeah, I don't,
I think Shirley might be better.
yeah, that didn't work well for us before with the district office. I'm not saying that it would be any
Yeah,
different.
do the other one at an elementary school. if you
Okay,
can.
got it.
Yeah, I would do that.
Um,
I agree.
is Shilling have a good, the multipurpose room? We'll
Yeah.
just do it there?
Yeah.
You wanna
They all look the
do,
same.
can we do 2 elementaries or just 1?
You can do 2. If you want us to do 2 that evening, we can do a third meeting, sure.
Yeah, because it'd be one side and then
Yeah.
maybe over here.
If you want us,
music.
if you want it, we'll do, like I say, we do what you want us to do. So if we do one evening at the high school and have a big group, then we can do the next night, it'll be smaller and do 2 elementaries and do maybe one at 6 and one at 7:30. We need a little bit of travel time.
Yeah, that's
between.
what I was thinking,
Yeah.
we don't wanna waste time with
Is that okay?
travelers.
What do you guys, do we need to?
I just don't wanna waste time with travel,
Well, he's only going
because,
from Shilling to,
but now we're allocating only 30 minutes per parents.
No. If you did one at 6 and then one at 7:30, we go
Oh, so
from
do
6
an
to
hour.
7 and
Yeah,
7:30 to
just drive an hour.
8:30.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll give at least an hour. Yeah.
because.
Sound good?
When we did this
Okay.
prior, we just didn't get the parents out, and I think this is the better way
If we
to
do
do
2
it.
Yeah.
elementary schools, then how about like a Shilling and maybe
Kennedy.
Kennedy? Yeah.
I'm fine with
Kind
that.
of 2
Good.
opposites.
Okay, very good.
I'm fine.
Okay, now the rest of the schedule I'm gonna go over with you for, but we're going to meet again, and we can update the schedule as we go through, okay? But these first steps, we needed to solidify tonight, because I won't see you again until the next.
I
meeting.
did have one schedule conflict I did want to bring up to the board. And
Okay.
if you're gonna go through the entire schedule,
I
then
am.
I'll wait, then, okay.
I am gonna go through the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay, so the second board meeting I have is April the 2nd. That usually is not a special meeting. It's usually part of your regular meeting because the content is limited. But you may want it to be a special meeting. Let me tell you what we do that evening, okay? We review everything that we heard. Now, if we're gonna go the 25th through the 27th, and if it is gonna be on April 2nd, I'll just give you a summary that night. The report won't be completed by that time. But that's okay, you'll get the highlights and then the report will come soon after, all right? We also start the selection of the interview questions, okay? I will bring you, we don't finish it, says select interview questions. We actually finish that on the third meeting. But I will bring you a list of interview questions aligned with your criteria. We'll talk about those and I'll give you instructions about what to do. It doesn't take very, very long. We'll talk a little bit about the interview procedures. I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about that too with you, okay? You know, this compensation package, I think I'm going to take this off because it's up to you. If you want to talk to me about compensation, about what you want me to say to candidates, that's fine. But what I almost always do is say, this is what the last superintendent made, they had this many years, it's negotiable. You know, I actually prefer not to get into compensation with candidates.
Yeah.
And they do too, they really don't want to talk about money yet,
I
because
think
they know
that's
it's up to you,
excellent.
it's
Yeah.
not up to me.
That's an
Okay?
excellent way to do it.
Okay, so we won't do that night, you can cross that off right now, all right? And I'll take care of it. And then the next one is a little bit off too, it's identifying stakeholder chairs. It's actually, take chairs off of there. It's identify the stakeholder group that's going to help you interview, all right? And what we will need to do that night is to talk about how you're going to, how and who you're going to do. Now, you don't identify them until the next meeting, but you must take action on who's on that panel.
And
of
just in regards to
interview.
this process,
Right.
so identify stakeholder group, and just to clarify, that will help us with the
Yeah.
interview, so we'll
The
be.
interview.
Will be
Elect.
sitting with us during the interview?
That's right. They don't sit with you.
Okay,
I'll talk to you in a minute about the.
Okay, that process.
We'll get to that,
Okay.
but it is identifying who the stakeholder panel is.
Okay.
That's going to help, that's going to interview the candidates.
okay,
And you have to decide that night how you want to do it and what process you're going to use between this meeting and when you
The
assign
how
them.
we will select.
That's right, that's right, okay? I'm gonna have to update that in my file. Okay, any questions about that? You wanna do it on that night? That's a regular board meeting you have. It shouldn't take more than an hour.
I was just gonna ask you, if it's an hour, then
Mhm.
I think that's.
Study session part? Or the
Well, if
meeting?
we're determining something, making decision, then that's probably not a study session. It's probably,
It's not a voting.
No, we're
this
not
is-
voting.
There's really no
Yes.
voting on that evening.
Yeah.
No, you're just giving
The
direction.
next meeting, we would have to take action.
Yeah, you take action at the next meeting on identifying the stakeholder interview group.
So,
Do we have a
what-
study session?
I'm sorry?
Do we have a study session
April
program
2nd?
already for April 2nd?
April 2nd, I believe.
Okay, so we could have Sharp confirm, but
Yeah,
ideally.
you know, you
we
can just
do
put it on your agenda too.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can just put it as an agenda,
As an
information
agenda
item on your
Gotcha.
agenda.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Okay, so that's good. April 2nd is good. All right, the application's closed on the 21st of April, okay? And that should give us a pretty good window, but I wanted to talk to you about that. I can push it back a little bit, maybe one more week if you want. It's really up to you. If I push it back another week, it really cramps that third board meeting. So let's go to the third board meeting before we solidify the April 21st. I need, of course, time to vet the candidates.
Sure.
And it's good to have 2 weeks to vet the candidates. That's what this does. The distance between April 21st and May 5th, when I come back and bring the candidates to you, is 2 weeks. Okay, so if we move the 21st, we have to move the 5th. All right? Okay?
May 5th is a
But if
Tuesday.
that's why I want to get it advertised here quickly, because I
Sorry.
think this is a 6-week interview window, if I'm not
You mean
mistaken.
May 7th, or?
It's a
It's a
special
special
meeting.
meeting.
Oh, it's a special meeting.
Okay. Now, we have a problem with this date because this should be a special meeting on May 5th.
Okay.
Because this is a 3-hour meeting, all right? And this is your regular meeting. So,
Is that a regular meeting?
I
No.
think, it is not your regular meeting?
May 5th?
It's Tuesday, May 5th.
Yeah,
So
no.
it's a special
then it's
meeting.
not-
Our meeting-
it's
our
not.
meeting-
So maybe
our
we do a
regular
special
is
meeting
7th.
that night.
And to clarify, we do have a study session scheduled for April 2nd. That's our restorative justice
Okay.
on that date.
Our meeting is May 7th.
Yes,
Our
so,
regular board
so this would be a
meeting.
special, this would be a special.
This would be
If we keep
special.
that date.
Okay, I thought I picked it up as one of your scheduled meetings, but
So
maybe not.
we would meet 5th and then the regular meeting on the 7th.
Good.
That's-
All
Sorry, I
right,
think
my mistake
that's-
worked perfectly.
So
I
May
think
All right.
let's,
Now
let's leave it.
Maybe.
Sorry, I think we'll leave the study session, and then I think we'll just agendize this.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's great, because that keeps us
It
on
might just be a
track.
longer meeting.
Keeps us on a
May
nice
5th,
schedule.
May 5th, so study
Really
special.
like this schedule.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna do that again? Our meeting is April 2nd, right? So you're not gonna have it before?
So April 2nd, we have a scheduled study session already,
Uh-huh.
and then his part will be agendized.
During that
During
night.
the
Oh,
regular
okay,
meeting,
that's
during the
fine, so we do it during
Yeah.
open session.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah. Okay, let's talk about what we do on May 5th, all right? Okay, because that's a big meeting, all right. So we will bring to you the candidates, let's say we get 30 candidates that apply. We will go ahead and we will review all of those. We'll bring all of the candidates' names and a short description of their qualifications to you. We'll also bring you a short list of the ones that we think that you should interview. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to pick them, and usually our short list is a little longer than what we want you to interview. And I'll talk about that in a moment, but it's up to you, okay? So when we come forward with the candidates, we'll be here, we'll come in the early afternoon to answer any of your questions. If you want to look at additional information, if any of you want to do that, we are here just to meet with you individually if you want to. If you want to, we can also give you electronic access to the candidates that are on our list of those who we think you should be taking a look at. And that usually, I'm saying, that's Tuesday, we probably give that to you on Friday before, okay? this is all confidential information, so there's a little bit of a limitation about, we don't send you everything, but we send you the letters of recommendation, their resume, and their application. I think that's, and their letter of application. I think it's 4 things that we
Okay, I
sent
have
to
a
you.
question on that. For the last few years, we've been going back and forth on because of the emails from a few years back.
Right.
And so I know in the past, we would, if board members wanted to see the applications, they would meet with you here.
Right.
Would that be a better way to go?
I think both are okay. The email, I do protocol training for boards as well, so I'm very familiar with this issue. You are okay with the Brown Act if you access this directly through your technology, but you cannot reply to anything. It doesn't allow you to reply, and you can't share with anybody. So we'll give you all of that instruction, and you should be okay to examine this electronically.
And how about the individual, the privacy when it comes to the individual? And do you talk to them about that?
Yes.
Do they have to agree?
Yes, and they do agree when they apply that the board gets to look at their paperwork.
By email?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll make sure.
yeah, okay? By email. It's not by email, I don't think it's by electronic. That's a good question. I'm not sure we asked them that specifically. I know that they have to sign off saying it's okay for people to look at your materials, but I'll ask that.
Yeah.
I'll ask that question. Is that an issue here? Email security an issue for you? It is some places.
Not that we've.
In fact, the last one I did in the Bay Area was in Albany. They had
It's not the security part, it's the fact that.
it's the Brown Act part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had issues in the past.
Yeah, it's the Brown Act part.
Not
That's
sharing
what-
emails.
Yeah,
As long as we follow the rules, it
Yeah.
should be fine.
okay, all right.
Because I would imagine you have to scrub the application and only give us so
Right.
much information.
That's correct. That's actually very correct. We just give you their, in fact, I'm not sure we give you the letters of reference. They do scrub, you get the application, which is the most valuable thing. You see how they write to the criteria. Their resume and their letter of application. I think I was wrong in saying that you get the letters of application because of, you're right, because of security.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
This is my 6th time doing this.
you've done this, I
Oh,
can
yeah.
tell. Yeah,
How unfortunate.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Okay, so now one of the services that we provide to you is doing a video where the candidates answer 3 standard questions. And this is not all of the candidates, that would be way too much. But it is the ones that we're recommending that you interview. And boards like it. There is a caveat I put on there that not everybody who interviews in a computer really, that's not always them.
How,
They sometimes freeze up in front of a machine.
typically, how many do you recommend?
Typically, we recommend 5 to 8 to you.
So this could possibly be, if everybody agreed to video,
That's
5
right.
to 8 videos.
That's
Okay.
right. It could take quite a long time, It could take an hour and a half to do it. Usually it takes about an hour. If we have a lot of them and we really feel like we have to go up to 8 because we have a deep pool, then we'll tell you, well, why don't you look at 2 of the 3 questions, but it gives you a chance to look at the candidate and to hear them speak. They do get to prepare these questions. I mean, the questions aren't something that they're asked off the cuff, they get to have a prepared answer. So, what do you think? Do you want to do that?
I like
It's up to you.
it.
It's part of your package. It's no additional
Yeah.
cost unless we have an
I
awful lot of
think
them.
it's good just because they do get to prepare, so even,
Yeah.
I think hopefully we
Most
can
boards
discern
like
if they're
this.
nervous, it's
Yeah.
more of the, what are they saying and
Yeah.
how are they,
Yeah,
what their
it's something
thought
we've done the last
process
2
is.
years,
Yeah.
and most boards like it. Okay, so we will do that.
so can I ask you, the number of candidates, you said 8, wouldn't that be something that we discuss once you get the whole application and you get a chance to look at everything?
Yeah,
That- I think that's what, sorry, I'm not sure if it was, you said it before Ray got here, but you'll bring us the whole, the complete list, but they will provide a short list, doesn't mean we have to go with it.
that's correct.
No, what I'm saying is that in conversation with you, the board will have to decide how many.
That's
to
right.
interview, right?
That's right, that evening.
Yeah, it might
Yeah.
only be 6. I mean,
It may
doesn't-
only be
course.
6.
Yeah, of course.
We actually like you to get it down to 5 if you can.
Right.
If it's above 6, if it's 7, then we'll get to our process. We can't really do that in 2 days.
So 5 is what you.
5 is what we like you to do, but you know, I can't tell you until we
Right.
see who we
We
have.
have that 6th.
Yeah, I don't want to not interview somebody because we have a limited numbers, you know. One time, I'll tell you, we had an awful lot of candidates that were highly qualified. We came in and said, you know, you've got 9 really good candidates here. So they had to do a pre-interview.
Okay.
The board had to get together a few days before their regular interview, and they had to do a short interview for everybody, then they got it down to 6. That has only happened to me one time out of 18 searches, and it was a very large district and very attractive.
So if you have a closing date, let's say of, 21st,
Right.
and someone comes in that, both of you really like, and is there an extension period there, or is it?
I oftentimes do, it depends on the situation. You know, I want to know why somebody missed the deadline,
Right.
because it's not totally fair to everybody else, you know. But my goal is to have really great candidates in front of you, so if somebody says, boy, you know, I just got wind of this thing and I can't get it. I'll tell you what happens oftentimes is somebody will call me a day or 2 before the deadline and say, I just found out about this. I don't think I can get everything together that fast. And what I say is get your application in and then let other stuff come in later or something like that. It's very seldom I get somebody who comes in a few days later. And if they do, usually there's not a good reason for it and I'll have to say no, you know, so. Okay, but, you know, I want to get all the good candidates that I can in front of you. Yeah.
That's the end goal.
That's the end goal, yeah, so there's no, you know, arbitrary thing going on there. Okay, so we're gonna talk briefly now about, that night you also appoint the stakeholder panel members, and we'll talk a little bit about that panel. Typically, the panel is no more than 15, and if you want to do 13 or less, doesn't have to even be an even number, because remember, the panel is half community and it's half school district personnel. But let's use 15 as numbers. If it was 15, you'd probably have 3 teachers, 2 administrators, and 2 classified, and then 7 people from your either parents or community that you choose to put on there. We're not going to talk about how to do that tonight, but we will at the second meeting about how you want to do that. Some boards put names in a hat. Some boards for the community. Some boards say, you know, we want to make sure that everything is covered. So, you know, we want somebody from this booster club, this PTA, those sorts of things. A lot of some boards say I want to appoint 1 each. A board member gets to appoint 1 each.
Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit more of what this process looked like? Not the appointment, but what the once we select the panel.
Right.
the
What's their process look like?
Yes.
I will. So let's talk about the interview day, okay? And how the whole process works on the interview day.
Okay.
Okay? So it's a day-long process for the candidates. They come in and they have breakfast with a couple of you, okay? You actually will break up into a group of 2, 2, and 1. And the 1 might be with one of us, or if you have somebody that one district wanted to have their interim superintendent be part of the process. I didn't think that was a great idea, but they wanted to do that, so that was fine. You'll, in the morning, break up into 2 groups of 2 and meet. Let's take a process where we take 2 candidates a day. 2 groups of 2, you have breakfast. Then after breakfast, the 5th board member will have coffee while the candidates are interviewing with the stakeholder panel. And so they're all engaged and have all of everything going on until lunch. And then the board members switch on the candidates at lunch. Then in the afternoon, you go ahead and you have your regular traditional interview. The nice thing about this is by the time you get into the afternoon interview, you've had a social time with the candidate. You know them. They've had an interview with the stakeholder group. And so there's a comfort level and some knowledge level of the candidates. So that's how that process works. Now, the stakeholders will have a regular interview. They will work with one of us as a facilitator, unless you have somebody you want to have as a facilitator. Some districts have somebody they want to have come in and independently facilitate. But that's why we have two consultants. One runs the process and one runs the stakeholder group. And then they give the strengths and the concerns of each candidate. And they fill out a form individually, and they work together as a group in doing that. That information is all kept by the facilitator, usually one of your consultants, and then delivered to you before you deliberate at the end of the process. Not the end of the day, but the end of the full process, okay? So that's how it works. We can also do it with 3 candidates a day. It's more complicated, but we do it, okay? Any questions about the interview process at this point? We'll go over this again. Of course.
So
This is what we recommend. If you want to do something different, we certainly will, but this is what we recommend. And it is confidential. Your stakeholder panel and you sign a confidential contract, really, with McPherson Jacobson, saying you won't share any information.
Okay. So just for, to make sure I'm getting it right, let's just say candidate 1 has breakfast with 2 board members, will then go have lunch with the stakeholders, or a coffee interview with the stakeholders, and then evening we'll have.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
So let's take it from your standpoint.
Yes.
Okay, you, let's say you pair up with one other board member.
Correct.
Okay, your board member A, your board member B, the 2 of
Correct.
you pair up. Then you'll have breakfast with one candidate, okay? Then you have the morning off,
Okay,
okay? Then you come back for lunch and you have lunch with the other candidate,
okay,
okay? And then what happens is you do your interview in the afternoon,
okay.
okay? That's your responsibilities.
In the meantime.
In the meantime, the stakeholder panel is interviewing a candidate that's not having coffee with the 5th board member. That's how it works with 2 candidates a day.
Okay.
All right? If you have 3 candidates a day, it's more complicated.
No. So then the stakeholders, you said they'll just provide to the board members their strengths and weaknesses.
That's correct. They they don't prioritize who they want. We don't get them to pass any judgment about whether this person should or should not be the next superintendent. We actually stay away from that. Not everybody does, but we think that impinges upon your authority and becomes a problem for you down the road. And actually, it works out really well because they, when you set them to that task, they really get into it and they take it very seriously and they do a really good job, and it's very helpful for the board. So I think it's the appropriate way to involve stakeholders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Okay. All right. That's pretty much it.
So to that end, if I may, I do apologize, but
It's okay.
I have a conflict on the 14th and the 15th. I don't know if the board is flexible to changing that, yourself as well, or if not, those are hard set days, I would not be able to participate at all.
And by the way, you have to be there for the whole thing or not at all. Yeah.
From the 8th to the 17th, I'm out. Yeah, 8th to the 17th.
Okay.
So we should go the next week
If
then.
we could do it the early part of the following week,
The
the
18th and 19th?
I don't know what
How do-
you guys think.
I remember, is the 15th is a Thursday or?
The
Friday.
15th is a Friday. The 14th is
Oh,
a
14th is a
Thursday.
Oh, I see.
So I'm
Yeah,
okay
then
with the
no, we
18th, 19th. for you.
I see. So we don't have regular board meeting that week.
Yeah, no, those are the interviews.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about the all-day interviews, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, because the 5th of May is that's the big one, the important one.
that's the big.
That's the big
That's the
meeting.
big meeting.
Mhm.
So there should be flexibility then on the all-day
So,
interviews.
Sure.
I'm okay moving it to that week, the 18th or 19th. I wouldn't want to delay it much
I
more
apologize,
than that.
that's fine, I mean, and my 18th
Yeah.
is fine, I really apologize for that.
No, it's fine.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody can do it?
And generally, all board members participate.
Yes, all board members.
Thank you
It's the
guys.
most important decision you make.
Vacation
Yep.
days.
Yeah, take vacation days.
And we need you there for all parts of it, okay?
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So
Okay.
for most board members, it's an all-day commitment. Yeah.
Gonna
You do have a break in the morning, but
Thank you for saying that. As far as, it's just so important for especially because we have,
some new board members.
young
Yeah.
Young and career.
young working
young career
professionals.
people, that's
What,
right.
hardworking, information,
Yeah.
board members.
Trying to
It's
save
just-
them here.
Yeah,
It's just so important for them to know that this is the most important decision we make.
yep.
No, but I think, practically for us as a board, since we're, having this discussion, it is 2 days off work that we need to plan, right? So.
Right. Same with your stakeholder group, although they will typically be done by 1 or 1:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
And board members are not allowed to do a per diem and charge us. I know that.
right.
At market rate. Okay, very good, thank you.
18th, 19th.
That's it.
Yeah.
18.
Now, we do that interview process both of those days, and on the second day, and this is why I only like to have 2 candidates on the second day, you should be done interviewing at about 4:15, and then we go into deliberations about who it is you want to select. Okay? We typically do not have callback interviews because you've done so much in that one day, and that's worked out. All but one case. One board, we will do a callback if you become deadlocked, and you feel like you have to have another look at 2 great candidates. But we don't typically schedule that. Okay? All right? And then you go ahead and appoint the person at a regular board meeting. I've got June 4th for that. That still works, right? Is that a regular board meeting?
I need to look.
Hey, did I get that one right? I went on your website, and I hope I got the right year. Maybe I didn't.
June 4th is a regular.
Oh, good. Okay.
Can't mess with Char, she's going to do it.
And then the starting date is July 1. Is that correct for you guys? Okay. All right. Okay. We are right on schedule. That's good news. We've done advertising, we've done the schedule, we've gone through the information. So the next thing we need to do, one thing I want to inform you about is that we do a brochure as well. And I've talked to Charlene, and we'll go through all the details for you on that, but I do want to go over one detail. We want your name and your time on the board. If you want, as a group, you can put your profession down as well, but you don't, but some boards choose not to do that. Do you have a druthers about whether you want to say what your profession is?
I'd rather not have a professional.
Rather not.
I'm just kidding. Whatever you guys think.
What do you,
It's nice.
I
It's
think
nice.
it's probably good.
If you're retired, you say retired,
That's
so.
what I'm doing.
No, I think it's good.
I might have to.
Okay, all right, because Charlene has been given sort of directions on what to do. That brochure, did you get one in your packets, an example of one?
Yeah, the one from Benicia.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think
you got the
you
one from
provided
Benicia in
one,
your
yes.
package. Yeah, so we do that for you, and we use it for promotion reasons, yeah. Okay.
Question,
So-
sorry.
No, all this, so once you come up with something, you share it with the board right
Oh,
away,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, yep. We'll send you copies of the brochure before it gets printed.
And quickly with that, so because you do need qualifications, et cetera, is that what we would discuss here now? So we
That's
can
what we're
have
doing
that
now, in the
All right,
next
for the
hour,
brochure.
okay? All right,
Do you do that in just one language? Because normally we have in, in English and in Spanish.
yeah, we can do it in Spanish. If
So
you,
If it
would
is a
depend on the
brochure
board if they
though,
wanna
if it
do
is a brochure, it's almost like a employment ad, right?
it's almost what?
The brochure is almost like the employment ad.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
almost like the employment ad, yes.
I don't see why we would need it in Spanish.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
just, the board makes that decision.
yeah. If you wish to have it in Spanish, we can translate it in Spanish for you.
You mean that brochure is to advertise for the position?
Right.
I don't think you need another language.
Okay, okay,
Just think.
okay. All right. So now you got 4 examples, I think, of criteria, correct?
Excuse me, William, I apologize. Sure.
Oh, there we go. I heard voices.
A voice in the cloud.
I'm sorry. before
Did I miss something?
I
Yeah.
just wanted to mention,
Yeah.
so June the 4th, board, that is the last day of school.
Oh, yes.
We have some graduations and public hearing going that night, so just wanted to mention for
Appointment.
that June 4th date.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlene.
Oh, man.
Big
Okay.
day, big day.
All right.
Graduation as well?
Oh, for break.
Okay.
That whole week is.
So our president just must have had to take a little break, and I don't want to take a break. I want to just kind of roll into this because this does take some time, but I'll just do some pre-work here. So, there we go. So we have the criteria, and the way we do this criteria, you did get examples of it, right? Correct? Everybody did. And as you can see, there's some similarities, right? And these are all done independently, just like you're going to do it tonight. So, but I have written all of these. These are 4 that I've done the writing, so maybe that's why there's some similarity. But I try to tailor it to exactly what you need in a criteria. So there's actually 2 things we're doing tonight with this. One is the criteria, that takes most of the time, but also the requirements. So if you notice on, let's take Elk Groves. Do they have requirements on the second page?
Qualifications? No, it's Albany.
Somebody does. Somebody has it. There we go. Look at Albany's. See where it says requirements? Okay. I guess I didn't print Elk Grove's requirements. So there are some school districts have certain requirements that they have. That's different than criteria. Criteria is what are we looking for in a superintendent. Requirements are we either require you are this or we prefer that you are. Okay? If you don't have either of those, you don't list it. So for instance, some districts, actually one district I did require that you speak Spanish because 95% of their parents spoke Spanish as their primary language. Okay? And some preferred it. Okay? Some districts really want the person to have been a teacher. Okay? And some prefer that and some require it. Some districts really want somebody to have their doctorate. Some require it and some prefer it. Now what I want to say about all these is that the more that you require, not necessarily prefer, but the more that you require, the fewer candidates you will get. Okay? So be thoughtful about what you require. Okay? All right.
So
Question.
yes, my question here now, we have requirements, but then they end each sentence with preferred.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we do that,
They
do that.
They chose in this case to make it just preferred.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah, because Elk Grove wanted to keep it quite open.
Open.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we give you the option of what is it that you want to do for requirement.
All right.
And you don't have to have any. Okay? It wasn't Elk Grove. So I think maybe Elk Grove didn't have any.
Albany,
Yeah,
one.
Albany
This one
did.
was Albany.
Yeah. What did Albany have?
Successful teaching and administrative experience is preferred.
Uh-huh.
It is required that candidates have a master's degree, a doctorate degree in education is preferred. California administrative credential is preferred.
Yeah. By the way, in California, you don't have to have a credential to be superintendent. Okay.
But so in this case,
Yeah.
they did require a master's degree.
They did require a master's degree.
Yeah,
But not a doctor.
But not doctorate.
But doctor was preferred. Okay, so the things that we find typically are experience, like teaching and principling, or administrative, or sometimes cabinet level. Sometimes I see you have to be at cabinet. Some places require that you've been a superintendent. I had one district that did that, and it really limited how many applications we had. The language is another one. Education is another one. So those are the type of requirements that we typically see. Okay? Do you have any?
So requirements.
Requirements
Requirements.
first? Okay.
What is your recommendation on that when, requirement versus preferred?
So my preference is that the person have a master's degree and doctorate you either stay silent on or prefer it. Yeah, but if you prefer it, doesn't mean you're going to get it. Yeah.
Typically, including, like in this case, a doctor preferred. Do you know, or is there any studies, or do you know basically if there's any candidates that they themselves say, oh, I won't apply, just because it says preferred?
That doesn't happen.
Okay.
Doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't wanna limit that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But you're asking if it's preferred, would somebody not apply?
Correct.
No,
Okay.
they'll still apply.
That's fine.
If they want the job. So do you want to do that? You want to do master required and doctorate preferred, or do you want to just stay silent?
I personally, if we're trying to get, a large group, would like to use preferred as much as possible. If people, in the past, talking to people that have applied, whether they got the job or not, it just seemed to, bring more people. And if a person sees preferred as far as a master's, then, I don't know, it just, when you put requirement, it just limits it to,
Okay.
it limits the field.
So
I'm okay at least if just to get it up there, I think, as a preferred.
That's preferred. So you
Yeah,
want to say
I-
master's and or doctorate
I think I
preferred?
would stay silent on doctorate unless
Okay.
someone pushes back.
I think,
Master's
Yeah,
required.
I think master's required.
Right.
Most of your teachers have master's degrees.
I wanna agree with you on that because I think we need to, I think we need to look with someone with that caliber. And I wouldn't wanna limit myself to not finding someone with that caliber,
Especially with some business acumen.
but.
So,
It's sorry,
for me,
just to clarify, I'm so sorry, but, so just to clarify, it's not gonna be a master's just in education, it could be a master's in something else, in business.
A
or
master's
something.
could be in
Master's,
business.
yeah, gotcha, okay, then I'm okay with that.
so
Sorry.
for me, that I really don't have any requirement or preferences for any degrees, because I would assume many of these people has been administrating for 20, 30 years, right? Or like, at this
Maybe.
time, yeah, I mean, if you have 10 or 20 years of experience, you're in your 40s or 50s, why would you?
You're thinking we're gonna get a 20-year
No,
experience in
I mean,
superintendent?
No, he's working in a field, in a school.
He or she.
Been
Yeah, I mean,
administrator.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if he's in this field for 20, 30 years, I wouldn't care that much about what he did in his 20s.
I also want to remind you that you choose who you're going to interview too. So, so this really is for the candidates
Yeah.
more than it is for you to limit people or not.
What
Yeah.
percentage of the pool typically has masters?
90% at
90%?
least, at
Okay.
least.
But
so-
preferred, I'm fine with that, if that's the.
Master
the
prefer,
consensus.
yeah, that's it.
I-
I like
It seems
it.
like there's more preferred than
All right.
Okay.
All right,
Um,
okay. Anything on language? You want to say anything about?
Spanish speaker preferred, just because our population,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay.
Um,
What percentage of your students are Spanish-speaking households?
16. Huh?
Over 50,
Over 50.
45.
Yeah.
It's over 50.
54.
So I think you want that.
I know we're
Okay.
55 Hispanic, not necessarily 55 all speak Spanish.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have the
Significant majority.
percent that are
Yeah.
Latino or Hispanics, and then about maybe half of those are actually
Yeah.
prefer Spanish. So I would say
Some
close
can-
to about a third.
Some candidates may say, I'm not going to apply because it's preferred. But most will anyhow,
Yeah.
okay? Because they have some knowledge of,
Working.
Spanish,
it's not a
and they have
must.
worked with Latino
Right, exactly.
parents and families,
Exactly.
okay?
Not a must.
And you want that. And you want that anyhow.
Yeah,
you know?
you
So you're
got
sending the
somebody
right
that-
message, I think.
You get candidates that have worked in districts that are similar to ours.
Right, right.
I would
Right,
say.
I did not speak Spanish, but I worked in 3 districts that had
Yeah.
large numbers of Spanish-speaking folks, and I had a very good relationship with the Latino
Exactly,
community.
and
So,
that's how we-
well, I saw that, and I think Berkeley had that, and I said, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be able to
Exactly.
talk to them about that.
Perfect.
I knew a little bit of Spanish.
Yeah, and exactly, that's how a successful candidate would sell that
Yeah.
experience, right?
Right.
I think California, experience in California with California Educational Code is a critical thing for us.
Do you want California administrative experience?
Or superintendent experience.
Well, let's start with California administrative experience, and then we'll go to the
Okay.
superintendent experience. So do you want California administrative experience?
That's required.
I would agree to that.
Yeah.
I would still stick to preferred. No?
Well, I think California is unique in a way that,
I would-
given the
Required?
uniqueness of our,
I-
the
I-
funding formula and
I
then
think
the
required
employee group,
is,
I think it has to be
okay.
required.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
So I will tell you, all of the candidates I've placed have had California experience, and I've been big districts, little districts.
Okay.
One came from out of state, but he had been a California administrator, so he met this. So California administrative
Required.
required. Now, I want to just push you a little bit on this. Okay, so that means if Governor Brown says, I want to be your superintendent, you'd say, sorry, you don't have California administrative experience.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
That's pretty far out, but you know, it does happen. It does happen. I've had
Well, you
some.
would bring them to us.
I've had some candidates, I probably would, I'd probably bring them anyway, you know. But there are some candidates who have, I'll give you another example. Some candidates come out of the military
Right.
and, have some kind of experience and they want to be a candidate and they've got a great resume. So I probably would say, no, this board really wanted California administrative experience.
I think so. I think if we think about what we're looking to develop from,
Mhm.
capability in our executive cabinet
Mhm.
and across the
Okay.
House, frankly.
Credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about superintendent now. Do you want to say superintendent experience is either required or preferred?
So from my opinion, you can meet one of the two. Number one is superintendent experience before, or you are assistant or associate superintendent at a district or more than 30,000 enrollment. If you come from, say, Oakland or Fremont and you say, I'm an assistant superintendent, I'm fine with that as well.
Okay, all right.
So to that point, speaking with a couple of other professionals in the field, was told that our district might attract a lot of new incoming, or not, a new superintendents or assistant superintendents looking to move into the superintendent field. I hope that's not the case, but just want to pass that along if we're gonna include some superintendents.
There's some great people coming up through the ranks. I have one in mind that I want to call for you, who was very successful in another search, who I think would be a great match here, but she's not been a superintendent, but she has been an assistant superintendent in a big district.
Yeah,
I personally think it's okay. I don't want to try and limit somebody's potential. I mean, the biggest thing that we should look out for is someone who has the potential to be a great leader. And if they
Yes.
already are showing that, why limit them because they weren't in a superintendent role? So.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean, just even from, we'll call outside of the education sector, if you will, another, I think sometimes we limit ourselves by looking at, have they sat in the seat before? I think that there are folks that believe that they have to have been in the seat before. I agree that that if they've got some executive cabinet experience.
So what I hear you saying is cabinet experience. Okay? All right? And is that preferred or requirement?
I like to use saying, we've done it both ways in the past. We've been very adamant about hiring somebody that was a superintendent before. And then the other couple of times, it was someone that was an assistant superintendent. So cabinet experience is fine. I just like to use the word preferred.
So you don't limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up to,
That's fine.
Okay? Okay. All right.
that's gonna give us a lot of we might end up getting 100 candidates. How are you gonna do that then?
That's a lot to check out.
Are you
Okay.
fine, right?
All right. Anything else on your requirements? We pretty much covered it. Okay? All right, good. We got those. That's the easy part. All right. Now what I want to do for the criteria, so I want you to take a look at those examples that you have in front of you, and I want you to think about the big topics first. Okay? And I'm actually going to do a process where I go around and around and list the big topics that you want. Now, if somebody says the topic that you want, that you think is it doesn't have to be the ones I gave you there. It can be another one that's a big topic in your mind, okay? Then if you want to pile on somebody else, that's what I call it, just tell me and I'll put a check next to it, and that means somebody else has the same big topic. And I'm going to go around. We'd like you to keep this to 5. Now that's very different than what most groups do. Most groups will have you do 80 or 30. And the trouble with that is we really believe in this concept of getting the right fit for you. And to get a right fit, you've got to focus them on what is the real thing that you're looking for. So we like to have you keep it to 5. I've done 6. I've never done more than 7. And we are then going to develop those topics, okay? all right, and see what the characteristics are.
Is this more of qualities, knowledge, experience?
It's not experience,
No.
It's kind of like
This
the
is
ones they gave
experience.
us, like the.
Yeah.
but it
The
is,
themes,
it is
it's
more,
always more.
it is more like quality.
Okay, so
Qualities.
then if we're looking at experience, because I'm just looking at some of the points.
So-
I'm wondering I'm thinking of if we're in the process of school consolidation, do and if that would go to experience, somebody with experience in school consolidation, would that even be
That would be a qualification, I
That,
think.
that
right?
would.
qualification?
Like
Okay, so
something
it's not
like
there, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
And then are we naming topics of qualifications?
Sorry, what was this one here?
He said
Requirements.
I think that would be a
It
requirement.
probably would be a
It's more
requirement.
tactical, right? Yeah.
If there's something specific that a person has to have had experience in doing, that's a requirement. A criteria is the characteristic or the attribute, okay, of the
Yeah.
superintendent.
So going
It's
back,
actually the answer to the fourth question we asked. What are the skills, qualities, and attributes
okay,
that you're looking for in a superintendent?
so to that, school consolidation, do we even wanna bring that up or keep it up?
I just wanna bring out experience managing, declining enrollment under the formula of LCFF, I think that's it.
Yeah, declining enrollment.
Because
rather
you might
than
have
school.
other ideas.
That would
But-
be-
but
that would be on
That's
this.
tactical, so it would be under requirement. Yeah.
Can I ask you something while you're writing on your,
Yeah.
on your knees there? The California administrative experience. Now, I remember a few years ago when Hayward Unified brought in a superintendent from Florida, I think, and it just didn't work out very well. But, so when you advertise, would that take away advertising outside of California? Because we might have a lot of administrators that
No,
are.
we'll still advertise.
Right.
Yeah,
Because you might have a lot of administrators that are living somewhere else that
right.
have history.
That's
in
correct.
California.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that wouldn't eliminate.
Yeah, that's right. Declining enrollment experience, is that preferred or required?
Preferred.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, that would, if it was required, it would cut down
Yeah.
quite a bit. Okay. Okay, all right. Anything else? Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to go around 5 times.
Okay.
All right, and each of you are going to give me 5 of these big topic items, okay? And I'll check them off if they've been on here before. Do you need time to
Nope.
figure them out? All right, I'm going to start right here.
Start over there first, please.
Okay, all right, I'm going to start right here.
I'm big on collaboration, so
Okay.
I need a good collaborator.
All right,
For me, it's a manager that can lead a customer service oriented organization.
okay. All right,
Someone who is a team builder.
okay. Okay,
Works well under pressure?
okay. All right, now what do you?
Okay, I would want someone that, gets involved in the community.
Okay,
Community engagement?
Yeah, community engagement. And is willing to work nights after 5.
Just one at a time,
You can't squeeze your extra
24/7.
okay, we'll elaborate more, okay, go ahead.
integrity.
Integrity? Oftentimes, we say an ethical leader.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Integrity, ethical,
Sounds better.
perfect.
Ethical leader.
Is ethical leader same as a work ethic?
It can be. I mean, there's several aspects to it.
Okay.
And that's the way we do these. We will
Okay.
group these things,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Okay? Right here.
Well, educator, like improve the academic performance.
Ah, okay. You find that on many of them. Either educational leader or instructional leader. Okay, next.
Executive/manager, and I
Okay.
could elaborate on that. when we get to-
I'm just gonna say executive manager.
Sure.
Because executive can be a number of things.
Yep.
Okay,
Innovator?
innovator. Okay,
I would want someone that's a good kid person.
okay, student centered.
Right.
Student centered, okay?
Yeah, I like that.
That's fine.
Okay,
Someone that can go to elementary school and read during Dr. Seuss week.
there you go. I had my hat. I don't have time to bird walk, but I love Dr. Seuss week. I had this hat. You know what I had inside of my hat? Did you guys read Cat in the Hat? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was inside of his hat? And Cat in the Hat comes back. Oh,
that's
no, I'm so disappointed. There was another cat. And I had that in my hat. And guess what? What do you think I had inside of that cat?
A hat.
Another cat. Kids loved it. Oh, they went crazy. I loved it too. Okay,
So funny.
you're next.
Ooh, transparency.
Okay,
Well,
Fair.
actually, I like accountability more, but
Okay.
someone else can take.
we'll be back. Remember, you can check off too. If you don't have to have a different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fiscal discipline and expertise.
Fiscal, right?
Fiscal discipline
Okay.
and expertise.
All right. I hope I don't ruin this, but I'm going to do this. Can I do this?
Yeah, but the top, yeah, there we go.
All right, I'll try to put it on the
That's what I
top here and not put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Be careful, we don't have a warranty in that.
Okay, all right.
An educator, and not just like from a certificate.
Number 7,
perspective.
it's a
Number 7.
educational leader. They put it
No,
there.
no, I'm sorry, educator meaning, developing, is interested in developing the capability of his team. Where would that come up? So that, to me, that's an educator, someone who's.
Developing
looking
their
to-
team?
Oh, you mean mentorship? Is it?
I think it could be here, an
Okay.
educational
I'm
leader.
okay there, then.
Okay, all right, we're going to put a check
Yeah,
next
change
to
my
that.
idea, I'm
Strength,
okay with that.
strength of team.
Okay, all right.
Equity?
Equity?
Understands
Okay.
equity?
Okay. Equity leader has a number of parts to it. Okay,
You have team builder over there, but I would want somebody that's very comfortable in the structure of a governance team, where, works well with the board,
you want me to add it to this one?
If you want, because, well, no, I think it should be separate, because team builder could be somebody that's good with building, when they hire their own principals. Building
Could
their
be
own
both
team.
though, too.
So,
Right.
interestingly enough, I have team builder, I said, with one arrow towards the board and then one towards the
Let's add it
team.
here, okay, because I think it's
Right.
going to end up
Yeah,
there.
So board and executive team?
yeah, well, and
Or-
the, yeah,
I mean,
the
sorry,
Yeah, and the whole.
board and.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, I have a diagram for that too.
You don't have a picture for that?
Yeah, because hiring the principals and everything, that's so important.
Yeah.
I got actually 3 things, the board, administrative team, and actually a team builder with others
Yeah.
too,
Right.
okay? All right, okay, all right,
Um,
and so we'll put a check on that.
Question,
Okay.
if I want someone to have knowledge of, would that come here? Is that-
It could,
Okay.
it could, okay, all right, we're on our 4th, oh, where am I now? I'm with you.
Third?
Okay,
No, I did equity, was what
you
my
did
third
equity,
one.
And
okay,
then he put a check
and he
mark
put
on
a
the
check,
table.
okay, all right, so now we're on our 4th round, okay.
Someone who has Emotional intelligence?
Okay,
That's
all
great.
right. Can I put social emotional, because I've seen that one
Yes, social
before.
emotional. High IQ, please.
I'm gonna say smart.
It's in there.
Smart. How do you measure that?
Okay. All right,
I will say constructive relationship with our employee groups.
okay, okay. All right, next.
Someone who is a doer. So that's a proven, and that means proven track record, by the way, in parentheses. Not just someone who says that they've done it.
Someone who is willing to walk the walk.
Next.
Knowledge of California employment law and ed code. California ed code.
Okay, next.
I have two.
This is your
You
fourth
get
one?
you get one and you get
So
one
then you
more.
read the other one.
No, I think it's so important for a superintendent to have knowledge of, human, HR, human resources.
Okay,
Isn't that California law, employment law?
could be, but there's other things.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree,
Okay.
it's, different.
And then, that's okay, I'll leave it. I'll wait.
One more, you'll get
All
one.
right. 19.
So,
What do you
fun.
do? 19.
19 feet?
Yeah.
You can check off another one if you agree with.
Or you can pass if you got them all.
No, I don't have them all. I want to list everything.
You can't. Gotta be the big
I
deal.
know.
I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Okay, you're good?
Someone who is about implementing processes,
Okay.
'cause to drive accountability.
Okay, I have mine.
I got process implementer for accountability. Okay, all right, what is it?
Strong leadership.
Okay,
I don't know how to consolidate this, but I'm gonna just give the topic. If someone needed to rebuild, or reconstruct our current process.
is it a trust issue you're talking about?
No, the
No.
process,
It's a process
administrative.
Okay, so it's a process creator then, really, huh?
Would that be the same as process implementation on number 19?
Could be.
Yeah, so just so you know, so what I
Yeah.
meant with it is, moving away from, well, remember how it was done 5 years ago? But rather truly saying, hey, here's our process, and I know we have policies and procedures, but really making sure that we operationalize those into
Yeah,
processes.
and I'm
I'm
thinking,
gonna put a check here and say operationalize.
because I'm thinking somebody come here and say, Newark, this looks good, however, this is a better way to do it.
Yeah.
That's why is that along the same lines?
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we got to check on that one. One more.
We have, one of our, as a board, we're involved with special needs children, so. And then also college to career.
Okay, specialized programs.
Well, special ed is, is such a drain on your budget, so someone that's really has some knowledge of special ed would be great. And then college of career is a big thing with the RP program that we have here.
Okay.
I know we skipped, I mean, Bowen didn't have a fifth one, and if the board is okay, budget experience.
Yeah.
Hey, you
But-
put it right there.
Fiscal.
Fiscal,
Fiscal.
there we go,
Fiscal.
repeating this, okay.
Fiscal.
Down the
There
bottom.
it is. I didn't put an L on it, I
Okay.
did fiscal.
How about
Okay, is there anything burning that you missed that
Community.
has to be on
Community.
here?
No,
Oh.
great communicator.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
so I don't think we really did put we had collaborator.
no, we have
Collaboration,
community, but
but
not
we-
communication.
We do not have a
That's-
communicator,
no,
do
that's
we? Okay.
Communicator,
All right, that usually is a big one there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's coupled.
yeah, in 5 languages.
Minimum 3.
Okay, I want you to look these over and see what can be combined. Now, these are big topic items, okay? So we're gonna add a little bit to the 5 that we come up to, but are there any that can be combined? Can I give you one right now?
Yes.
This HR and Ed Code and employment law, it really is all the same thing, right? Okay, so this is so convenient, I don't have to even put a circle around them.
Okay.
I need another color for these.
When I thought about collaboration, I thought about it from a community engagement, and just my thought process is, it is the whole context is around rebuilding trust
Okay.
and relationships.
I think-
So, I'm not sure if it's.
I
the
think
same.
I have to ask the group if it's
I was
okay to
looking at that
combine.
one.
Do you wish to combine those two?
Before, I was looking at that one, but I was also looking at collaboration with the team building aspect of it. So I
Uh-huh.
don't know if,
Yeah, when I was saying collaboration, I was thinking like,
With internal,
internally building, the team.
The team,
and-
okay.
Yeah.
With
And
that-
also like working directly with all of, like, the teachers and taking input from the teachers, the principals at the district
so
level.
it's more, and that's what I meant by team, so maybe we could combine
do
those
that,
two?
yeah.
So these two?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
And the community.
agree with you in
And the
community.
community.
Like, I feel like collaboration and then arrow to team building and then an arrow to community.
Yeah,
almost.
that's the 3. Collaboration with team building and the community engagement, that's fine.
Well, I want to talk about community engagement for a moment. Whatever you want to do, we'll do.
No.
Okay.
If you think
But-
it's separate, that's.
But community engagement does have an aspect of collaboration, but it has a lot of other aspects to it too. And that is things like being visible in the community,
Correct.
being somebody that receives folks, somebody that empowers the community in decision making. There's a lot of aspects to community.
Okay.
But it's not only collaboration and building a team. That's one aspect to it.
Yeah, then,
You can read some of them, right? I think community comes up in some of these.
Yeah,
So-
on.
Community leader who is excited and committed about being visible in the schools in a meaningful, discernible, a person who can relate to diverse cultures, it's a relational thing, listen to their needs and dreams. Superintendent is expected to be a person who invites the community to be involved with schools. That's a good one. I wonder who did this. Oh,
yeah.
With transparency, oh, sorry, I wasn't
Oh,
over
go
that.
ahead. No.
Would transparency go with integrity and ethical leader?
Yeah.
Could be,
Yes.
could very well be, yeah. Transparency,
Yes.
And number 6,
integrity,
Yeah.
and ethical,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Transparency is part of it, that is usually seen with this. So we'll do that as well. Okay, is that all right with everybody?
Yeah, I'm okay
Okay.
with that. I do want to come back to the whole,
6.
while you're doing that, there is something about, you can be engaged in the community, meaning you can show up and be visible. It doesn't mean you have a good relationship with
Right.
the community. And
That's
so-
right.
And so that's what I was talking about. Again, in my head,
Right.
it doesn't have to be the word collaboration, but there
Uh-huh.
is something about, I'm not sure, that has to be.
Well, we'll develop, if community comes up to be one of your 5, we'll develop it.
Well, can
Okay.
I?
Because I think it's a huge theme
Yeah.
that we need to.
Yeah.
Or relationship
No,
building.
It is a big thing.
Having someone that's comfortable with all the community, I mean,
Right.
sometimes you have school people that are very upset and
Uh-huh.
might disagree wholeheartedly with what you're trying to do, like if you're talking about school closure or whatever.
Yeah.
So somebody that feels comfortable enough with their message so that they don't push people away, they bring everybody in.
Yeah.
Whether people that agree with him or her or not.
Yeah, big important aspect in a superintendent, in my opinion. I think that's a very important thing for you as a board. You want a superintendent that can do just that in the community. Yeah, makes a difference. Any other combines? All right.
We can't pay this guy, this person enough based on all these things. We
Yeah.
don't have enough money.
Yeah.
Does it?
All right.
Can't scare them away now.
So now we want you to bring this down to 5, maybe 6 of these, okay? And so now comes the hard part. You can't do all of these things in criteria if you want the person to focus on the important stuff, okay? You can ask questions on many of these. When we get to the question asking phase, a lot of these will come up in different areas, and I'll keep this list as I give you suggestions for your questions. But what are the 5 most important ones?
5.
Each of you get to vote for 5. So write down right
we
now.
vote for 5?
Yeah.
5 that you think are most important.
Can I add another point that can collapse a lot of work?
Did you want to combine?
I actually can add one point that can actually delete several of the other things.
I think 3 is better with me.
What is it?
Each person
Like,
3. I know you have a reason why you say 5, but
No,
They're just a lot.
That's right there,
That's
knowledge,
HR,
that's
that's
HR.
HR.
knowledge.
Yeah, because you certainly, if you hire the right people, you don't need to process those.
And that's this one. That's this one. Do you want to lobby each other first?
No.
We don't really have time for it, but sometimes I let you lobby each other.
I
Okay,
like
vote for
raise-
5. Vote
Five?
for
Okay,
5.
all right, I was gonna say
Vote for
3.
5.
Okay, let's
So
go.
this is our test to see whether or not
We're aligned.
You're all aligned. You won't be, I'll guarantee
whether or not
you.
we're a good leadership team here.
I know this. I like working with you. I could tell from the first meeting that this can be fun to work with this group.
Okay.
Everybody got it? Everybody got their 5?
I'm working in progress, so go ahead if anyone's ready.
I don't want to start putting them up until everybody's got them.
Okay.
That's a no-no.
Oh, gotcha.
Who
That's a
else is-
no-no.
who's
That
not ready?
will
Or
influence
who's
you.
ready?
We don't do that.
Oh,
Is everybody ready? You got to write them down. You got to have 5 that you've written down. I know you do. You're still working on it. You got to put them down. I don't want you to be influenced by others.
we have 18 minutes.
I know. We're going to get there.
And I asked you, do you think it'll take 2 hours?
We'll have to go fast in the last part, but we'll get there. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start that at this end this time.
Got it.
Okay.
I was
Just
texting
give me the
you.
number.
Right. I'm sorry, I was texting my granddaughter, apparently it's
okay.
important, her
That's all
message. Community,
Community, okay.
okay, HR,
HR,
fiscal,
fiscal.
diverse,
That's 12.
Fiscal's here, right? The, where is the diverse one?
He just made it.
Is it equity?
Equity.
if it's not in there, maybe it should be.
Let's add it to
Put
equity.
equity.
Okay, that's fine. And then communication.
And then communicator. Okay. All right, okay. Next.
Okay, so knowledge of California Ed Code, employment law, and HR.
Okay, so HR, all right.
Equity leader.
Equity leader, okay.
I did say collaboration because I think it does encompass a few other ones.
Collaboration, all right.
Communicator
Communicator,
and innovator because I think it can also.
innovator.
The other page.
Where was
The other-
innovator?
in the bottom.
Here we go. Okay, innovator.
Encompass innovative thing.
All right,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay, community
Community,
relationships, I said, but with community. Collaboration, team builder.
collaboration.
Integrity, ethical leader.
Integrity, ethical leader.
6. No,
Oh, wait,
no, that's number
that's-
6.
That's equity.
That's,
So that's -1. We'll remember that.
That's
Wait,
number
please
s-
remember that. I
Number
only have
6.
2 there.
It's on
It's
number
number 6.
Number 6 and 11, that one,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Cross that one.
Okay, well, we'll remember there's two there.
Okay.
Executive manager,
Executive manager, okay?
and where's the education? I said passionate education, but I think there was something around.
Oh, student center?
A doer.
Improve education, educational
Yeah,
leader?
yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. Okay, your turn.
So number two,
Number 2. Managing.
number 6,
Number 6, integrity.
number 7,
Number 7.
number 12,
Number 12.
number 15.
Number 15. Okay.
You're efficient here.
All right, very good.
Number 6,
Number 6.
number 1,
Number 1.
number 22,
Number 22.
number 17,
Number 17.
and number 5. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, no. I can't see. Number 9.
And number 9, innovator. Okay. All right, so I am going to take that one off. All right. So if we're looking at the top 5, we've got collaboration. 3, a majority of the board was with that one. We've got integrity, ethical leader. Okay. We have HR. And we have communicator. All right. So if we're looking for a second set of them, we've got fiscal, we've got innovator, we've got education, we've got community engagement,
That's it.
and equity.
Oh, equity.
Okay. Now I want to make a suggestion. Okay. You have communicator and collaborator together there. Oftentimes I see those together. Okay. And that would give you a little more room, but if you want them, but oftentimes I don't. So it's whatever you want to do on that one, because they are the same in some ways, they're different in some ways.
If I could add to that, because, see, so I saw innovator as innovative fiscally,
Okay,
and then innovative, it can be innovative in community engagement. So
that could
works
go
to me.
different places.
Yes.
Uh-huh,
I don't, and again, that, it depends on, I guess, how we
yeah.
describe it.
Innovator oftentimes is associated with educational leader because it's somebody who uses technology, somebody who innovates with new program and that. So I don't know if,
I also think of them as,
and let me put one more thing. I think, to throw my bias in here just a little bit, it's really important your leader is an educational leader for credibility with your staff. And the fact that you had 2 people, I'm curious, did anybody of these 2 here and these 2 here, was it different people or the same? Did anybody vote for both of these?
No.
Yeah. The innovators. I got a cough tonight.
So what, because when I proposed number 7 initially, I was saying academic excellence.
Right.
You translate into improve education.
Right.
I guess,
Right. Right.
because in school, we're educating kids.
I didn't capture your excellence there, I will now. Okay, so the question I have is, okay, and the other thing, I don't know, are you comfortable with putting innovator and educational leader together and saying that's one of your 5?
But are we okay with leaving out community engagement and fiscal discipline and equity?
Well, I've got a couple of ideas on that. So, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but a lot of times, and you'll see it in here, is that oftentimes the operational side of the house is seen as a management issue. And
Yes.
they put fiscal discipline and HR together in that area. Those are the two, and then facilities usually gets thrown in there too. I didn't hear you say anything about facilities, though. So,
Yeah, to me, it was like the management,
Right.
operational piece
Right.
ties with fiscal.
right,
But I know that I was the only one voted on the manager.
Uh-huh.
Just because I think it's different than not the knowledge of ed code and HR. You can be a policy buff and you can't execute to save your life,
Right,
right?
right.
So I think those are different.
Right.
Sorry.
And there are different parts of it.
Yeah.
There are different parts of it. So if I could make a suggestion from my experience, I would take this and put it under the area of an operational manager or a
Executive operations.
executive operations, okay? So we'll add 12 to this.
And,
Is there another one?
no, I think 17 and 12 go to 8.
Like as the big header, is that? And
Yes,
those are the- okay.
yes,
Okay.
I agree,
Okay.
I agree.
17, 12, 8.
Perfect, all right.
So then we still need one more.
So the,
Three.
yeah, team builder's up here. This is not one of them, even though I,
It's team,
It belongs to
to
collaboration.
collaboration.
yeah. Sorry about that. Should have used a different color. So you've got collaboration, you've got your ethical leader, you've got your executive manager. That's a nice setup. You've got your communicator,
I think we're rolling communicator into collaboration.
and we could roll it into collaboration, and then you still could pick up. Let's talk about the education and the innovator, because you had 4 people vote for these. Those of you that voted for innovator, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Didn't come out right.
Oh, again, I was one of them, and the innovator is just thinking outside the box, and for me, it's in general, thinking outside the box.
It could be educational, it could be something
Educational,
else.
Think
Okay.
outside the box, HR, think outside the box.
All right.
Managing, be innovative in what you do.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
Yeah.
creative
Creative
problem
thinker,
solver.
yeah,
A creative
I like the
thinker.
creative problem solver. Yeah.
Creative problem solver. That's
So-
what innovator was for me, but.
Influential problem solver.
if you took this creative problem solver and put it in the context of improving, looking for excellence in educational leader, does that make, I'm worried about this not being in here because we build your questions
Yeah.
I
on
think
this.
the innovator.
And educational excellence is really what it's all about, so
I think,
sometimes we overlook it.
I think the innovator could be rolled into the executive manager.
It could be,
Yeah.
it could be both, could be either. Mhm. All right. Then I will find a place for this. Where do you want me to find it?
Which one? For the-
Innovator.
I think if, what I'm hearing you is if
Executive
we do
manager.
stick to improve educational as our 5th one, then the innovator we can stick in other parts.
Under
Right.
executive manager.
Executive manager, okay.
Right.
Yeah, and then Elk Grove has a creative public school educator. Is that different than
That's
what
just-
your thought? Is it, that's, because that's more focused on nuts and bolts, if you look at the description?
Go ahead and read it.
Creative public school educator who possesses experience and knowledge when supervising curriculum, instruction, assessment, technology, and professional development.
Yeah.
A person who has the skills to maintain or enhance existing successful programs while discerning new programs for implementation.
Yeah, that's a programmatic, innovative person, yeah, that implements. Mhm.
But that's so very focused, educational, but I just want to make sure, I'm not sure if that captures the essence, Bowen, of what you were after.
So, I mean, because Mr. William, you just mentioned the educational excellence, academic performance is really
Right.
what the school district is doing.
That's right,
Yeah. so
yeah. Yep,
It is common for a posting for superintendent that doesn't mention that.
that's right. That's exactly right. It's very uncommon not to have this mentioned, right. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, correct?
No.
Five.
Five down. 1,
One,
2,
three,
3,
Four.
4.
We only have
That one
four.
goes
That
up,
one moved over.
And that
Five.
one, and that one moved up to 1.
And this moved up to 1.
which,
No, no, number
Plus
22.
22.
communicator and collaborator?
So we have one more we can pick.
No,
If you want to. Did we decide to take communicator and collaboration together?
I think so.
yes, we did.
We did. So we have one more now.
No, we have one more.
Mhm.
Collaboration.
So you can do equity leader or community engagement, but I feel like equity leader could be put into executive manager also.
Where do we move the fiscal discipline to? We move the fiscal discipline
Fiscal,
to number
under
8. right?
executive manager.
Yeah,
Executive
that's number
manager.
eight.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that's in. Okay, so now we have community engagement, which is a big important
So
one.
the fifth one is.
And
community
equity and
engagement.
diversity, you see these two together quite
Those
often
two
too,
are
because you have a very diverse, so let's put those two together.
Community and equity?
Uh-huh,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Like, yeah, because knowing your community, therefore making sure we're meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess, so if we have number 5, I would suggest, like, because we talk about, we have the group of our students, that's one of our stakeholders. We talk about community, that I presume is community member and parent, that's another stakeholder. Maybe, and then we talk about this executive manager, physical, maybe the last one, let's add in something to do with another stakeholder, which is our employee group, because they are sort of a stakeholder of the district.
Mm-hmm. They are one of your
Yeah,
stakeholders.
but that all falls in community engagement.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
All right.
And then the team building collaboration, I think.
Just to
Okay.
kind of summarize it, I think we put collaboration, and under that would be team builder, community leader. Then integrity and ethical, and then executive manager, which includes innovator and fiscal responsibility of financial discipline. And then
And the
community
HR stuff.
and HR,
Uh-huh.
and then community with equity, and then educational leaders.
Can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the other, the
Big
the
examples?
verbiage that goes after the
Right.
heading.
Right.
Is that something you help us with?
It is, it is. That's the next phase, and I do most of the wordsmithing on that.
Okay.
But the final thing I want to ask you is, in these 5 areas, is there anything, the boards sometimes like to say, oh boy, they captured that thought really well. Is there anything in the reading here that applies to these? Because I'm actually going to work on this tonight, because I captured all your thoughts and I do it right away. But I want to know, is there anything that captures your thought in the 4 that I gave you? And remember now, you're looking at some that are very similar, okay?
With your, oh, go ahead.
I like the executive manager because it
Uh-huh.
talks about, when you were talking, which is recruiting and develops the talented team, and then it also talks about fiscal.
Yeah.
So that one, under Elk Grove,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Same thing with Elk Grove, just the heading, you put creative public school educator,
Okay.
and then right under that, you had manager. I thought those were,
Which one was that? What was it?
oh, Elk Grove, same thing with
Elk Grove, and what was it called?
And you
Was the-
had creative public school educator, and then manager right
Okay.
under.
Ethical leader from the Albany group.
Yeah,
That one's
yeah,
really nice.
they spent a lot of time on that one,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah.
You know, when you talk about the management piece, I think, in my experience in working with different superintendents, the ability to recruit
Uh-huh.
and bring people into their team that,
Which one had that? One of them
Which
had.
one?
Which one was big on recruitment?
It's like HR, like
Yeah, but under manager, was that in Elk Grove or was that in?
That was-
You have manager for Elk Grove first page.
yeah, I like the Elk Grove one,
The executive manager talks about recruiting.
we have recruits.
Okay,
And then and to that, same thing, Elk Grove, you had it separately, I think you put executive manager, right? So you had executive manager? Oh, you have it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, same
Mhm.
thing, Elk Grove.
mm-hmm. That's good, that's
You
good.
know, when you look at the corroborator,
Yep,
sometimes students just are left out of a lot of these things.
yeah,
And I think based on the way we are, I think it's important. You know, we talk about collaborating with different people in the community, but I just think students should be
I'll make
in
sure.
the middle of that. Okay.
Okay.
And then under Sonora,
Uh-huh.
the community-centered leader, which is kind of around the community engagement
Okay.
component.
Okay,
I was looking
Sorry, is
I
that?
was looking at the same one, but I was looking at your community, it says community leader for Elk Grove as well.
Oh, okay, is that the same one? Okay.
No, I mean, well, yeah, it's different.
You know, when you look at Albany, it touched
yeah.
on that as far as the students. You know, the experienced educator, student achievement. Right there.
yeah, Yeah, they spent a lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
It got awfully long, but it was.
Yeah.
And ethical, you also had an Elk Grove, which is also pretty good.
Okay, I'll put Albany and Elk Grove. Okay, if you have, I am gonna go ahead and put one together for you with all the thoughts that you had tonight and the feedback you've given about the ones that you like elsewhere. And then I'm gonna try to get that to you actually tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna try to get a draft to you by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm gonna work on it tonight and tomorrow morning. And then if you can get that back to me Sunday night or early Monday morning, then I'll go ahead and put a final one together and submit it, all right? And we can always update it if you really think something is wrong or off on it. But I think we've done good work tonight. I think this is really excellent, yeah. You've got a lot of input on what you're looking for as the first step in your superintendent. Thank you, and we did it in 2 hours.
Perfect. Thank you.
All righty,
Thank
thank you. Thank you very much.
The high school one at Schiller and Kennedy.
Good, because I didn't get all of it.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
have the other dates that we changed the April dates.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. All right, so that's, real. I've got all of this, so don't be any help on
And I
that.
can gather this to the best I got and send it to you as well.
Good.
And we can watch the stream and submit it.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Okay. All right, moving on to item 3.2, public comment on closed session items. We do not have any speaker cards for this, so at this time, we will recess to closed session.